Hello and welcome to another video for Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today we are looking at something that's now very old. And this particular item is becoming quite difficult to find and is now quite collectible, especially in this condition, which we get to in a moment. But it's all based on the 1970s television, very, very popular television program, which was called The $6 Million Man, and it starred Lee Majors as Colonel Steve Austin, who was an astronaut, and he was on a test flight. He was test flying a new aircraft for NASA, and it crashed, and he was barely alive, and the government agency, they rebuilt him and made him the world's first Bionic Man. Now, it was a hugely popular television series, and it also spun a spin-off television series which was called The Bionic Woman, which starred Lindsay Wagner, and that also ran for quite a few seasons. But a $6 Million Man run for a total of 5 seasons. There was 102 single episodes made, plus 6 TV movies that was produced. And it ran from 1973 through to the end of 1978. And of course then there was loads of reruns after that, so it actually carried on the terrestrial TV in the UK until about 1982, 4 years after it was it actually stopped production. But anyway, hugely popular television series and a great series of the time, and obviously, like most highly popular television series, it spawned a lot of merchandise. And it spawned some games, and this particular game we're looking at today is called the Bionic Crisis, and it is all based on that television series. And this is the game in front of us, and it says the $6 Million Man, ages 8 to 13. Turn box over for description of game, and there you can see an image of Steve Austin with his bionic eye flashing there, and on the right hand side you can see Steve Austin on the operating table inside the Bionic Theatre. This is Bionic Crisis, a game by Parker Brothers, and we all know Parker Brothers, very popular brand, responsible for Monopoly amongst loads and loads of other things. Okay, that's the front of the box. Let's turn the box around now and have a look at what's on the back. Okay, so I turn the box around, and it gives you a pretty good idea of what you've actually got on the back there. So you've got the it says Crisis, the life of the $6 Million Man is in danger. Be the first player to determine the right bionic circuitry and restore Steve Austin's powers. Bionic Crisis is a challenging game for children aged 8 to 13. Through strategic moves and dedicated reasoning, each player will try to plot the path of the bionic circuit, which is held by an opponent. The action takes place on 4 individual consoles. Players use numbered cards to find out if they are on or near the right circuit. And there you can see an image of the pegs and the circuits that you have to make and the cards. So that's pretty much what the game looks like. Actually, before we have a look at the game, let's just have a look at the side of the box and see what is on the side. So let's just angle that down, and then we can see what's on the side of the box there. Let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, so it says a Parker game, ages 8 to 13, 2 to 4 players, Bionic Crisis, and on the right hand side it says the $6 Million Man. You've got the same image there that is on the front. Turn the box around to the other side, and we've pretty much got the same again. Same images, same text, and so on. So I won't read it again. And if we turn the box to the end, well, pretty much the same again. $6 Million Man, Bionic Crisis game. And I think it's the same on the other side. Yes, it is. Okay, so that is the box. I think what we're going to do now, we're going to open it up and we're going to have a look at the contents. Okay, so I've opened the box and this is what we've got. So we've got the Bionic Crisis. Now, these are the circuit diagrams. So if you can see these 4 diagrams, I'll stand them up at the back actually. You see they're still attached to the sprue. So they're unplotted. So you've got to poke your pins through, your pegs through, which are these things. You poke them through to create your circuit diagrams. And these cards here are all the circuit diagrams, and again they're all unpunched as well, but you can see they all contain different circuits that you have to make depending on what card is being held. And as you can see, these are all still attached to the sprues and have not been taken off, obviously, because this is a brand new game. You've got all the pegs. The red pegs are for the circuit diagrams, and the yellow pegs are for the holes which are not part of the circuit. So that you've got to figure out. And there's all the cards in there, Bionic Crisis cards, and you've got, I think they're all numbered. Yeah, so each of the cards, I'm just going to open this packet. So each of these cards all contain a number on the back. Upside down. Let's turn that one back the right way up. So, and they all go from 1 up to any number, up to 36, I think, is the last one. No, 38, so it must be 40. So they'll go up to 40. So that's all your cards, and on the front of them, you've got the Bionic Crisis logo there. And that's your, when you get your circuit sits in here, and that gives you the tray to plot your circuit diagram. Okay, I'm just going to move that out of the way because all the instructions are on the back board there. And if we just have a zoom in, we're going to have a read of these instructions so we know how it plays. So it says, Steve Austin, astronaut, a man barely alive. You can rebuild him. You have the technology. You can make him better than he was before. And it says, you have been selected to assist a team of world-famous scientists. Your job is to be the first person to correctly plot and peg a bionic path of 10 spaces on your console. Stay alert and watch for important clues. You may be able to help repair Steve Austin and give him his bionic powers. The assignment, to be the first player to correctly complete a bionic circuit path on his console. So the equipment, you've got 4 console boxes, which are the orange ones. You've got 24 bionic circuit cards, which were those are ones with Steve Austin faces on. You've got 4 console cards, and you've got 48 number cards. And you've got red and yellow pegs. Okay. So it says, preparation. Remove the 4 console cards from the sheet and place a card in each console box. Okay, so these are the console cards, and the console boxes are these orange trays. There. It says, remove the circuit cards from the large sheets, shuffle the cards, and give 1 card face down to each player. The remaining circuit cards are set aside and will not be used in the game. And the circuit cards are these. These are all the circuit cards. And it says each player sets a console box in front of him. He places a circuit card face down near the box, and he may refer to it at any time during the game. Shuffle the deck of number cards and deal a hand of 3 cards to each player. Place the remaining number cards face down on the counter of the table. Turn the top card over to form the discarded pile. Open the bag of pegs and place them in the center of the table. You will now try to duplicate the red path on the circuit card, which is held by the player to your left. The path is a line of 10 connected spaces on your console. One of the following numbers is part of every circuit: 1, 12, 13, 34 and 40. However, in guessing your circuit, you need not start at one of these locations. Just keep in mind that one of these numbers is at any end of your bionic circuit. Select a player to begin the game. Play then follows to the left. On a turn, a player draws the top card from the number clock. From the number deck. He then selects any card from his hand, places a card face up on the discarded pile, and calls out the number player, or calls out the top number on the discarded pile. It is possible for every player to call out the same top number when it is his turn. After he has called out a number, the player to his left who holds the caller's circuit card must check the card and give the caller the following information. If the number called is red on the circuit card, the player has located one of the 10 spaces on his Bionic circuit, and he receives a red peg which he inserts into the same number on his console. If the number called is yellow on the circuit card, the location is next to one or more red spaces on his circuit, and he receives a yellow peg to insert into the same number on his console. If the number called is not red or yellow on the circuit card, the player is not near a space on his circuit and he does not receive a peg. When any number card is played, the player places his card face up in front of him and asks the player to his left for information about any number space on his console. The card is then removed from the game and may not be used by the next player. A player's turn ends after he has asked for and received information about a number on his console. When the deck of number cards has been used or up, shuffle together the discarded pile and the used any number cards, fearing the last discarded played face up to form the new discarded pile. Guessing the circuit, winning the game. A player may try to guess the 10 spaces on his circuit at any time during the game. The player completes his circuit by filling in any remaining red pegs and then calls out the 10 numbers where the red pegs appear. The player to his left checks the numbers against the guesser's circuit card. If all the numbers are correct, the player has won the game, and however, if the player is wrong, he is out of the game but must continue to answer questions from the player on his right. The game continues until one player has successfully identified the 10 spaces on his circuit. There we are. That is the game. So, not a great deal of... It's not that complicated, really. It's more of a guessing game where you have to guess and plot that circuit. Once that circuit's complete, then you win the game. Or you lose the game, depending if you get it right or wrong. So it sounds like quite an interesting game to play. Okay, how well did these games do back in 1976? Well, I think they done very well. There was an awful lot of $6 Million Man merchandise produced. There was the $6 Million Man figure. There was the Oscar Goldman figure, the Muscatron figure. There was the play tent. There was the rocket ship. And the Bionic repair centre. There was the Sky Car. Oh, there was so much merchandise that was produced for the $6 Million Man. Different clothing, all sorts of things. That was just on the figure line. And then the games were available. There was badges, there was patches, there was all sorts of things. Cards, all sorts of things that were available. It was a massive franchise. Because the television series was so popular. I think we all needed a hero back in the 1970s, and the $6 Million Man came in at a time when that was needed by all of us. So that was what we latched on to. The series in itself was brilliant in the beginning. I think it lost its way a bit towards the end, but even so, it was a very good series. And it obviously running for 5 seasons and 100 odd episodes. It must have done very, very well. So games were produced. This one is not. We don't seem to see as many of this particular game as we do the Dennis Fisher $6 Million Man game. That one comes up incredibly often. This one is a lot rarer and harder to find, especially in this mint unused condition. You can find these games on the platforms. They do appear on the platforms quite regular, but they are used and bits missing and what have you. So you just need to be careful. But back in the time, back in 1976, these games sold very quickly. Everybody wanted $6 Million Man merchandise, and come Christmas, there was so much of it in the shops, and everybody was buying it for their kids. Okay, so let's move forward to 2024, which is where we are now, although not very long left of 2024. So what we're talking 40, no, we're talking 50, yeah, no, we're talking 47 years ago. Yeah, not far short of 50 years, actually. 47 years ago when this game first came out. So like I say, nowadays, if you want a game like this, in this unused condition, they are extremely difficult to find. You can find games that have been played on the platforms, as I said, but like I say, they have been played with. There is already holes pierced through the circuit diagrams. All the cards are separate. A lot of them have missing pegs, and some of the cards are missing, which I've seen when I've seen them on the platforms. And also, if you order on the platform, be very careful, because you don't always see the image that of the item you're actually going to buy. A lot of the platforms use stock diagrams, images, and so what you think you're ordering is not necessarily what you're actually going to get. So make sure you read the description and click onto the used highlighted word, so you can actually see the product itself. So it is a lot of rigmarole, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Or alternative, you don't have to worry about all of that. You can come straight to us at Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles, where you can find this and many other vintage $6 Million Man items. And now, obviously, as you know, this particular game, this one was a former shop counter display game, which spent a few months on display in a shop counter back in 1976, before it was returned to the box and retired to the stockroom. And that's where it stayed, in that shop stockroom, until we went in when they closed down and we bought out all their stock. And lucky for us, this was among that stock. And this particular game now is available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage $6 Million Man items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive that this is something that you won't want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, something old you've never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or maybe just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular game. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful old $6 Million Man game with me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next video. So bye for now.